Well, the chant of Hogan is very apparent what Sting wants. And I think by this time, James J. Dillon knows as well, guys. Tonight is the deadline for Sting. I think he's already answered that deadline. I'm looking forward to seeing if tonight that match that Sting wants, that the world wants, can finally be signed, Brain.
Well, my thinking is something's going to happen tonight. Something's going to be said. We'll know one way or the other. And I can only hope and pray that Sting gets what he wants, because I want to see Hogan get hit.
Yeah, the handwriting's on the wall. The people have spoken right here, and I guarantee you, some answer has to come from Sting tonight. Take a look. You talk about a matchup right here off the get-go. Here tonight, Tony. We're getting ready to see one right here. Lovely Deborah McMichael, then I mean, running with a bad man, another man.
Running with a man from right here in Nashville, Tennessee, Jeff Jarrett, the United States champ. Jeff Jarrett will open up the Clash of the Champions, one of 3 title matches we have for you live here tonight. And he'll defend that U.S. heavyweight title against a man who in a short span, guys, has become one of the baddest of them all, member of the Horsemen, Mongo.
You know what, Brain? It's always a proven fact. When you're fighting or battling with emotion, sometimes it's costly and it makes you make mistakes. But let me tell you something about Mongo McMichael. He understands the situation. He sees his wife in there with another man. This has taken on a real different twist of fate, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I wonder if he can stay focused. You know, Jarrett's no pushover. That man can beat you any time of the day. So if he wants to beat Jarrett, out-wrestle him, and become United States champion, he's got to concentrate and forget about his wife.
Gentlemen, let's not forget that over the course of the last weekend, and even Monday on Nitro, the NWO mentioned that tonight would be their birthday party. 1 year for the NWO, and they would celebrate tonight. What does that mean for WCW? What does that mean for the athletes? What does that mean for James J. Dillon? We can only wait and find out during the course of this live program here on Superstation TBS. And down low goes Jeff Jarrett. He does not want Mongo to get an early advantage, but Mongo's got the belt now in his hand.
I want to tell you something else. Now make a quick note of this right here. That belt is like a Super Bowl ring to him. It's very important. All I'm saying, Brandon, you answered this question, was can he emotionally be involved in a contest right here tonight without thinking about his wife?
Well, he's done it in football, but then again, his wife wasn't sitting on the bench of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, she didn't run away with Troy Aikman or nobody. She was standing out there with Jeff Jarrett live right here in public tonight.
This is a gala night. We have a capacity crowd on hand. We have the best of WCW, the best of the NWO. 3 title matches also here with us tonight. And we'll be hearing from them, we understand, later on. Host Paul Gilmartin and Chef Claude Mann of Dinner and a Movie that you see each and every Friday night here on Superstation TBS. So a lot going on here live from Nashville, and here we go. Jeff Jarrett trying to use the quickness early on. Look at this. How about that? A pickup of the big man and a hard slam.
Out of the playbook right there. Big man slam by Jeff Jarrett. Brain, I tell you what, Jeff Jarrett, traditionalist that he is, knows what to do inside that squared circle.
Well, like I said, he's no rookie. He's a man that can beat you any time of the day. Second generation. He's been down the road. He's had some battles. He's prepared.
And look at the determination, if you will, on his face. In addition, as you heard at the top of the program, a big 8-man tag Lucha Libre match. Mike Tenay will be with us to call that one. That certainly is going to get out of hand. It always does. And now, Mongo. One time, Jarrett put the brakes on, but he's in the clutches of McMichael. Standing switch. Double leg pickup. And he's going out of the 3-point stance. What about this?
That's trying to add insult to injury right here. Turn around right here. Oh, he got him too. Took him off his feet.
And he's going to showboat a little bit. And I'm not so sure that that's a good thing to do. I know he's in his hometown, Brain, but he's going up against Steve McMichael here.
Well, the only advantage he has doing this in his hometown is they can bury him here.
It's about right. Going to do a little strutting now, and that really got the big man mad. But, you know, maybe, Dree, that's the strategy here, to get Mongo upset, to get him angry.
I don't think it's going to take much to get him upset. You see Pearl Harbor turning back on. Got it from behind now. Put the boots to him. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take a whole lot to get Mongo McMichael at anybody.
I think he was mad before the bell rang.
You know what, Tony, though, Jeff Jarrett went in with a good game plan. When you take a look at it, see what I got to do, take the big man down, stay away from his power, and don't get hit with one of them.
Not tonight.
That rocked the U.S. champion here. And Jarrett now sent to the left side. Whoa. Schwippen. Jarrett now takes the low road and tries to slow things down here, but here we go. Mongo was going to go out after him, and Randy Anderson moved him back.
Well, Mongo's got to realize to beat Jarrett and to become United States champion, he's got to do it in the ring.
Jeff Jarrett slowly trying to take advantage here, trying to slow down the momentum of Steve Mongo McMichael. And as he goes back into the ring, we're going to have to step out for a commercial break.
Wow.
Back with more live at the Clash of the Champions U.S. title bout after this timeout.
You know, that's a good move to slow McMichaels down.
You're right, Ray.
To the champions, and the action is outside. And this is the first time during the course of this commercial break it's been a case of Jeff Jarrett trying to stall. He finally pulled Mongo out, and Mongo was sent to the steps now twice. Head first to those steel steps. Yeah, whatever game plan he had has worked to perfection, if you know what I'm talking about, because the big man, Mongo McMichaels, now is in the real game plan of one Jeff Jarrett. Trying to stomp a mud hole in him right here.
And it seems to be working because he's got him where he wants him. He's got him down. He's had advantage of the match for more than half the match, so it's working for Jarrett.
Now, the old strategy is to take the bigger man down off his feet. He did much more than that. He has almost pulverized the man on the outside head first. And many times, look at this.
Hey.
Would you look at this?
Wow.
That's a first. I mean, we have seen her be a distraction on the outside, Brain, but never grab anyone, and she grabbed her own husband that time.
Yeah, I can understand her doing that with anybody else. I can see that. I can even understand that. This I don't understand at all. Of course, women do a lot of things I don't understand.
You and me both, man. Down goes Mongo once again. And
mostly me.
Mostly you.
Yeah, she physically put her hands on him. I'm telling you, she might have been waiting to do that a long time. Got him. Yeah, sneaked up.
Sleeper hold is on. Mongo fighting. A lot of times, the more you fight, the worse it is for you.
And I doubt if Mongo's ever been in a sleeper hold and knows how to combat it or what to do.
I'll tell you what, Jarrett's got it hooked real good, too. You've got to get him down where both their knees hit the canvas, and then your bottom side hits, and once you got him down there, you got to really put the pressure on that carotid artery right there, you know.
The best way to get out of that thing is pull that hand down around the neck so the referee has to break it. Make it into a choke.
Make it into a choke.
Yeah,
well, he's out right here, Tony.
He could be. Arm is up. No, it does not go down on the third one. And Randy Anderson, both hands out in front. He said, no, this match is still going on. Mongo is okay. And he's starting to come back here.
That's right. He thinks it's the fourth quarter or something. And it's a tie game. And he's got the ball.
How many people have powered their way out of a sleeper like that? He's got a sleeper of his own on.
There you go. Reverse it right there. Jumped on it.
And he's got it on good.
And Deborah wants the attention of Randy Anderson.
Well, she's got it, too, and she's up there on the ring, and there's people all moving around. Who is this right here?
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero has a belt in his hand. That belt, I believe, is the U.S. title belt. Oh! He nailed Jeff Jarrett with it.
Well, that was the wrong guy, obviously, by the look on his face. Oh, man! Get him covered. Cover this guy right here.
Come on, Mongo. Be smart now. Be smart.
He covers.
He's got him.
Does he got him? 2, 3. Yes! A new United States champion! The first title of this man's career!
How about that?
Probably in the shortest space of time in this professional sport of WCW Pro Wrestling, this man has become United States Heavyweight Champion!
This is what I'm talking about! This is the first start of a Horseman run, baby!
Had to fight through adversity, seen it all coming, kept the play in front of him, went ahead and executed what needed to be done. Now, oh, look at this.
I knew you could do it all along, sweetie. You know, I had my heart all set. I knew you could do it.
It ain't gonna be that easy!
Yeah!
Oh, yeah! Whoa!
Walk away from that.
She was telling him, I knew you could do it all the time. She said, I knew you could do. Start batting those eyes. He almost melted.
Let's take it out to Gene Okerlund.
All right, Tony, apparently we're in the middle of a little domestic spat here on the Clash of the Champions on TBS.